Resort is unique, the only one of its kind. Experience the 4 paths of natural wellness: yoga, Ayurveda, acupuncture, and naturopathy. Each uniquely customized program improves the whole person to make every person whole. Come to WION Health Resort. Make your reservation at wion.com.
From the bustling trading floors of Wall Street to the vibrant exchanges of Asian stock markets, WION breaks it down for you to make sense of what's happening, as we reveal the key factors behind events, strategic battles, and the game-changing business decisions that shape the world. We bring you all of this and more on World Business Watch.
Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh. To some, it's an extreme ideology. To others, it's the very soul of India. To some, it's rebellion. To others, it's a principle of nation building. Coming soon to challenge perceptions in RSS Centenary Year, Kesariya at 100.
Hello there, I'm Eric Njoka and this is Race to Power on WION World is One. Bangladesh has urged India to extradite former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina and former Interior Minister Asaduzaman Khan Kamal after both were sentenced to death for their role in the crackdown against a student uprising last year. President Trump continues to attack Marjorie Taylor Greene despite his call to release the Epstein files. The president repeated his assertion that the former ally is a traitor, even as he urged fellow Republicans to vote for the release of documents relating to the let sex offender. Welcome to the show. We begin with Bangladesh. Bangladesh's former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has been sentenced to death. A court in Bangladesh has found her guilty of crimes against humanity. Hasina has called the verdict biased and politically motivated. Well, we'll go step by step to see all the events of the day. Hasina was being tried over her role in the deadly protests that broke out in Bangladesh last year. The protests, also known as the July Uprising, are what resulted in her ouster. Before she resigned and fled Bangladesh on August 5th last year, there were weeks of clashes that rocked her country. She has been charged with orchestrating a bloody crackdown on the protesters, which led to the loss of at least 1,400 lives. A months-long trial had been underway. Hasina, who has sought refuge in India since her ouster, was being tried in absentia. The trial concluded today with a guilty verdict. Hasina was found guilty on 3 counts: incitement, order to kill, and inaction to prevent atrocities.
For all these 3 counts, we have decided to inflict her with only one sentence, that is sentence of death.
Sheikh Hasina issued an official statement on the verdict by Bangladesh's International Crimes Tribunal. She called it biased and politically motivated. She also said, and I quote, "In their distasteful call for the death penalty, they revealed the brazen and murderous intent of extremist figures within the interim government to remove Bangladesh's last elected prime minister." Hasina went on to say that she mourned all the deaths that occurred, that her government lost control of the situation last year, but she did not order the killing of protesters. Members of Hasina's party, the Awami League, still back her to the hilt. They have called for a nationwide protest on Tuesday and they remain defiant.
Our war will continue and get more severe as long as the illegal Yunus government does not step down.
After the verdict, Bangladesh's interim government called on India to hand Hasina over immediately. It cited the existing extradition treaty between the two countries, saying that New Delhi was obligated to send her back. India's foreign ministry says it has noted the verdict and says it will engage constructively with all stakeholders towards the goals of peace, democracy, inclusion, and stability. Bangladesh's former education minister Mohibul Hassan Chaudhry, who served under Hasina's rule, spoke to her assistant editor for foreign affairs Siddhant Subal on the verdict.
The verdict in the Sheikh Hasina case is out. With me is Mohibul Hassan, who was the education minister under the Hasina government. So welcome to WION. And my first question to you is an obvious question. Your first reaction to the sentencing, the verdict, the death sentence that has been announced for the former Prime Minister of Bangladesh, Sheikh Hasina.
Thank you for connecting me. This was an expected verdict. It was pre-written. There was a staged drama in the name of a trial. The whole process was illegal, from the formation of the tribunal to the end of the trial and today's verdict. So the whole process is a farce. It is to take revenge for 1971's trial, the trials that we had held for the crimes of 1971. That's what it is. So we were expecting this, and therefore our reactions will also be as they would expect. Right now, their objective is to bar us from the next election. That's what they want to do. They have succeeded to some extent. But our objective is to oust this illegal government. We do not recognize the authority of this court. We do not recognize this government, and we do not want to participate in any election under these people. Oh, the Jaish-e-Mohammed had themselves said this in public, in Pakistani media, that their mercenaries went to Bangladesh and took part in the riot, and that claimed credit for the ouster of our government. Maulana Fazlur Rahman, one of the hardline Islamist leaders from Pakistan, is now in Bangladesh. And Jaish-e-Mohammed had publicly declared that they are going to now open branches in Bangladesh. It's not what we are saying. It's all in the media. They are the ones who are saying that they will start operating from Bangladesh. So it's not something that we are concocting. So this is what these people want, to turn Bangladesh into a vassal state of ISI, like it used to be between 2001 and 2006.
Let's move on now. US President Donald Trump has made a sudden shift in his stance on the release of the Jeffrey Epstein files. The statement has surprised many within his own party. Trump has urged House Republicans to vote in favor of releasing the files, saying they have nothing to hide. Trump dismissed criticism, saying it is time to move beyond what he called the Democrat hoax. He says radical voices on the left use the issue to divert public attention from Republican achievements. The shift follows days of growing pressure within the GOP. The Republican Party faces internal division over the issue, with tensions escalating between pro-release lawmakers and party leaders. Among them is Georgia Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, once one of Trump's strongest allies. Greene has said that the American people deserve full transparency and that influential figures should be held accountable if they participated in any wrongdoing. House Speaker Mike Johnson has also addressed the issue, expressing confidence that Trump has nothing to hide.
Private conversations.
He had nothing to do with it. President Trump has clean hands. He's not worried about it. I talk to him all the time. He has nothing to do with this. He's frustrated that they're turning it into a political issue, and it's not surprising because the Democrats have nothing else to talk about. What have they accomplished in 10 months? Epstein is their entire game plan. So we're going to take that weapon out of their hand this week.
The US president has repeatedly said that he has nothing to do with the disgraced financier's sexual abuse.
Did Jeffrey Epstein mean in his emails when he said you knew about the girls?
I know nothing about that. They would have announced that a long time ago. It's really, what did he mean when he spent all the time with Bill Clinton, with the president of Harvard, who you know, who that is, Summers, Larry Summers, whatever his name is, and all of the other people that he spent time with. Jeffrey Epstein and I had a very bad relationship for many years.
Well, the debate comes at a time when newly surfaced documents are reigniting controversy surrounding Epstein and his associates. The political and public pressure surrounding this issue continues to build. However, lawmakers pushing to release Jeffrey Epstein's sex trafficking investigation files are expecting a significant victory in the House this week. Let's talk to our correspondent now, Susan Tehrani. She is live in New York. Susan, it's good to see you. Trump still has beef with Marjorie. That's number one. Number two, he says that Republicans can vote in the House because he has nothing to hide. I just want to know, do you foresee a further rift within the Republican Party because of the Epstein case?
Yeah, you know, Eric, it's interesting. This was really a 180 from the U.S. president, and a welcome one by many of his supporters and those who are watching and wondering why in the world are they handling this so poorly from a PR perspective. And it seems that during the weekend there was some discussion, and this was the way that at least his base and many Americans hoped that he would handle it and support the release of these documents if he has nothing to hide. The infighting within the Republican Party is one of concern. He's now made a nickname for Marjorie Taylor Greene, Marjorie Traitor Greene. So we're going to continue to see those things happen. She also has an election coming up in Georgia. It appears that Trump doesn't think that she will win based on recent polls. So she has her own issues to deal with. But the Republican infighting, yes, will continue on a number of issues. It's not just the Epstein file. But with Trump's blessing and backing and those comments supporting this vote in the House, it appears that it will go through. The House will vote on it. There was concern that the Senate might block it and stop it because they need 60 votes. If all Democrats vote, they still need about 13 to 15 votes from the Republicans to be able to pass it before it goes to President Trump's desk. But if it appears that when he says that he's backing it, at least on this front, I don't think there's going to be a lot of disagreements within the party when it comes to this.
Susan, I'm also curious, what are Americans saying about what Trump suggested, that Bill Clinton, the former president, should be investigated?
Yeah, you know, the American people, their concern right now is affordability. Their concern is what happens to their pocketbooks. And, you know, with recent polls coming out that President Trump hasn't been so favorable and hasn't done, quote, enough about this, you know, the White House finds itself in a peculiar situation. For many Americans, this is tabloid fodder until something substantial comes out of it. The alleged survivors put out a video, actually, urging Congress to bring out these files and vote on it, that these documents get released. That might affect public opinion to a certain extent. But you have to wonder, you know, while we say that this is a Democrat ploy, they're benefiting from it. But also the Republicans may be benefiting from it as well, because it takes the headlines away from the affordability issue and the economy, which many Americans are most concerned about.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's see how that plays out this coming week. Susan, great to see you. Thank you. A political firestorm is brewing in the Indian state of West Bengal. The governor of the state, C.V. Ananda Bose, has thrown the gauntlet to a member of parliament from the Trinamool Congress party, Kalyan Banerjee. On Saturday, Banerjee accused boss of sheltering criminals from India's ruling Bharatiya Janata Party at his official residence in Kolkata, the Raj Bhavan. Banerjee also said that boss was arming them with bombs and guns. To refute Banerjee's claim in a very public manner, boss ordered a search of the Raj Bhavan by a joint team of the Kolkata Police and Central Forces. The building was thrown open to the police, bomb squads and sniper dogs. The search was conducted on Monday afternoon and it was live streamed. This was so that the world could see that there were no weapons stored at the governor's mansion. In a further challenge to Kalyan Banerjee, boss had demanded that he apologizes for his statements within 24 hours. The deadline has passed, so boss says he has sought a legal opinion. Following RJD's crushing defeat in the 2025 Bihar Assembly elections, his daughter, Rohini Acharya, quit politics and disowned her family. The decision highlights a deepening crisis within the family, with Rohini blaming her siblings Tejasvi, Sanjay and Ramiz. Her announcement came just hours after the RJD's election defeat. Three more daughters of the RJD Supremo, Ragini and Chanda, left the family's Patna residence with their children and travelled to Delhi, signalling a widening rupture within Bihar's most influential political family. In a series of emotional posts, Rohini alleged she was subjected to filthy abuses and that someone even attempted to hit her with a slipper during a confrontation involving two of Tejasvi Yadav's closest aides. They were Sanjay Yadav, the RJD's Rajya Sabha Member of Parliament, and Ramiz, a long-time associate.
मेरा कोई परिवार नहीं है। अब ये जाकर के आप संजय, रमीज, तेजस्वी यादव से पूछिए, मेरा कोई परिवार नहीं है। वही लोग निकाला है हमको परिवार से, क्योंकि रिस्पांसिबिलिटी लेना नहीं है उनको।
Rohini's allegations drew a dramatic response from her elder brother, Tej Pratap Yadav, who was expelled from both the party and the family earlier this year. Tej Pratap posted a message through the Jan Shakti Janta Dal social media account saying the episode had shaken his heart to the core. The departure of the RJD Supremo's daughters from Patna comes amid a week of political and personal upheaval inside the RJD. The party is also already reeling from a humiliating performance in the assembly elections, where its tally crashed from 75 seats to just around 25. Lalu Prasad Yadav and Rabri Devi are parents to 7 daughters and 2 sons, making theirs one of the largest and most politically recognized families in the state. Citizens of Britain voiced sharply different views on immigration. This as the government unveiled its most sweeping overhaul of asylum policy in decades. With pressure mounting from the surging Reform UK party, Labour is doubling down on efforts to curb illegal channel crossings. Commuters in London were split, some demanding tougher controls, others warning the measures go too far.
I think asylum seekers come here because they know that they're going to get given accommodation, money, a good life without having to work for it. But in that respect, if people want to come over here and work and provide and give into the system, I'm all for that.
I personally feel like it's not right. I feel like immigration is something that is needed. I feel like a lot of the Western countries have gone to countries and caused so much havoc and chaos and damage to those countries, which has caused people from those countries to come here.
It's wrong. We've always been somewhere where people can feel it's safe to get to. And other European countries are taking a lot more people than we are. So it's a lot of misinformation, and Labour Party need to toughen up.
I used to vote Labour, I won't vote Labour again because I think they've gone down the reform route of demonising immigrants and calling them illegal and things like that. I don't think there's such a thing as an illegal person.
I don't think it's too high. I think it's complicated. I think that it's like the knock-on effects of COVID plus things like cutting foreign aid. I think you need like a multinational solution.
Let's now talk about these elections. And Chile's presidential election is headed to a runoff between Communist Party leader Janet Jara and hard-right candidate Jose Antonio Cast. This after both the leaders failed to secure the required 50% threshold in the first round of voting that took place on the 16th of November. Jara faces an uphill battle as rivals coalesce around Cast. As the results came in, Jara, a minister, and outgoing President Gabriel Boric vowed to tackle organized crime and tackle cost of living issues.
The need to move toward more effective immigration control is to strengthen public safety, and that is why together we are going to strengthen the police and preventive measures. We are going to insist that Chile lift banking secrecy and follow the dirty money trail. To those who refuse, like Cast, presidential candidate Jose Antonio Cast, to lift banking secrecy, I say, if you haven't done anything bad, you don't have anything to fear.
With 82.97% of the results counted, Jara, a 51-year-old communist running on behalf of an 8-party coalition, won 26.71%. On the other hand, Cast, who has vowed to rebuild Chile after 4 years of center-left rule, got 24.12%. These figures are according to Savel, the electoral service of Chile.
The only real victory, the only victory that will make us celebrate, is when we defeat organized crime and drug trafficking. The real victory will be when we close our borders to illegal immigration. The real victory will be when Chileans have decent jobs and Chile returns to growth, unlike what has happened until now.
Chile's presidential election was dominated by deep concerns over a surge in murders, kidnappings and extortion widely blamed on foreign crime gangs. The race now goes to a second round on the 14th of December. Chile's constitution does not allow re-election to consecutive terms, so left-wing President Gabriel Boric, whose presidency ends in March, is not running for another term in power. Now, a wave of Gen Z-led protests is sweeping across Mexico. At least 120 people, including several police officers, have been injured during the nationwide protests. Tens of thousands filled the streets across the country as citizens expressed their anger towards the ruling government. What began as a youth-led protest called by Generation Z activists spread rapidly, drawing citizens of all ages into the streets. Demonstrators say they are protesting against rising crime and corruption.
Today we are marching because we demand justice and because young people are fed up and want a good future for our children and for future generations. Perhaps the previous generation did not do things in the best way, but we are ready, and I believe that now is our time too.
These are the images from the capital showing long lines of protesters moving through major avenues. Many are holding banners honoring European Mayor Carlos Manzo. The mayor died on November 1st. After publicly confronting powerful drug traffickers, protesters shouted his name and called him a symbol of courage. President Claudia Sheinbaum condemned the violence that erupted outside Mexico City's National Palace. She said authorities will investigate the clashes and stressed that peaceful demonstration is a right that must be respected.
Today there was a demonstration in Mexico City where they say many young people marched, but in reality there were very few young people, and they removed barriers and broke windows in a violent way. We say no to violence. If you disagree, you should express it peacefully. Violence should never be used. Change must always come through peaceful means.
Outside the National Palace, tensions erupted as protesters tore down parts of a metal barrier surrounding the building. Police stationed at the site responded by releasing tear gas to scatter the crowd. In Morelia, hundreds gathered outside the Michoacan government palace. They accused officials of ignoring cartel violence and failing to protect communities. The wave of demonstrations now stands as one of the largest shows of public frustration and discontent since President Sheinbaum took office. Organizers say the protests will continue until they see concrete steps towards security and justice. Time now to take a look at other political developments across the world. Bangladesh Chief Advisor Professor Muhammad Yunus describes the upcoming national elections as a key event that will determine Bangladesh's course for the next century. He called it a century-defining election that will shape the nation's future for generations to come. This as he addressed a meeting with divisional commissioners and deputy commissioners on the upcoming national election and referendum process. The Election Commission of India announced special revision for Assam, which is scheduled to go for assembly polls early next year. The poll body has issued an order to the Chief Electoral Officer of Assam for special revision in the state under Section 21 of the Representation of the People's Act 1950. And that's the latest on this edition of Race to Power on WION World is One. Thank you for watching.
From the bustling trading floors of Wall Street to the vibrant exchanges of Asian stock markets, WION breaks it down for you to make sense of what's happening. As we reveal the key factors behind events, strategic battles, and the game-changing business decisions that shape the world. We bring you all of this and more on World Business Watch.
The stress of our world can take a toll on our physical and emotional health. Here, in New York's Catskill Mountains, lies a luxurious place of healing called WION Wellness Center. The WION Wellness Center provides 500,000 square feet of natural methods to manage diabetes, hypertension, chronic pain, obesity, depression, anxiety, and other conditions. We use the traditions of centuries-old natural science from India, yoga, Ayurveda, acupuncture, and naturopathy in personalized programs that help you take charge of your own health. A minimum 5-day stay is recommended for best results. Book now at yowon.com.
Where darkness hides behind every corner. Where the truth is stranger than fiction. A show that dives deep into the stories which shock and mystify. Unsolved murders. Psychopaths who defy explanation. International war crimes. And millions swindled in financial fraud. The victims, the accused, and the sinister plot. Crime is your front row seat.
the darkness.
WION, India's global voice, the channel that brings you the biggest stories from across the world through India's lens. Now available in more than 190 countries worldwide, because we believe that the world is one. Watch us in Africa, Europe, USA and Canada, South America, Asia Pacific, Middle East and North African regions. Also available on these digital platforms across the world. WION, World is One.
Welcome back to WION World is One. We are glad you're watching. Time now for Fine Print, our American Joker. Our top stories. The United Nations says